Happy holidays and welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I am Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
This is a comic book review show that we do every week, more or less. Next week, I think probably not. Actually, wait, I don't know. Because
there's no reason
this is the week of the holiday.
Yeah.
Of the Christmas that is coming. Sooner rather than later, folks.
There's a lot of holidays happening this week.
There are a lot of holidays, right?
Yes.
I know I couldn't name all of them because I'm very insulated. I don't really know what we're doing. But
Okay.
I'm excited because we're doing this show and we'll be back soon to do another show. And I wanted to welcome any newcomers to this show who might have caught this lovely co-host of mine and I talking about the Superman trailer, which was exciting. And I guess we should talk about that a little bit, like at least for a minute.
Okay.
We'll do that later, like at the end of the show. We'll talk about the Superman trailer again.
Okay.
A little more in depth now that like some time has passed.
Sure,
That'll be kind of fun. But if you're new here because you saw us talk about the Superman trailer and you like the cut of our jib and you're interested in what we have to offer here, welcome to the show. Every Monday night around 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, we talk about the latest and greatest comic books that come out of the past week. We give you a little rundown of each issue, and then we recommend comics that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. There's also other aspects of the show. For example, Super Chats. If you're watching the show live, you can sponsor today's show by using Super Chat, ask a question or comment, we'll read it here on the show to be part of the show forever. And we're going to relegate that section to the end, like after the whole comic book roundup is done. Then we'll address every single Super Chat, so we get to you, we give you the time you need, and of course, we can dedicate that whole moment to you as well. We also have a little book of the week moment where at the end of all of our reviews, we kind of isolate which was the book of the week for each of us. And that way we get two for the price of one.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about comics that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. And because it's Monday, comics are dropping on Wednesday, which is Christmas Day, which is impossible. I don't think that they are dropping. I don't know if they officially come out on Christmas Day or if they come out on the 26th officially. I know a lot of comic shops that are not going to be open.
Yeah,
on Christmas Day, which I understand.
Yeah.
But a bunch of comics are coming out on Christmas Day, or at least coming out this week. And so we'll recommend those as well. In the world of comic book news, which we always talk about at the top of the hour, Jonathan Hickman has been announced to be doing a Marvel Comics event. That's right. There is a Marvel Comics event coming in 2025. That's all it says is 2025. And the name of the event, supposedly, or at least seemingly, it's called Imperial.
I'm wondering if this is another Gods.
It could be another Gods. I mean, it could be that Hickman is just like, man, Ram V is doing this thing with the new Gods, and I will not be left out in the cold. And so I will do a thing.
Well, no, I meant Gods.
The GODS.
Yeah, GODS. Sorry.
No, it's called Gods. We never called it GODS.
Why would we?
I'm just isolating that.
Why would we?
Exactly. But yeah, no.
Is it definitely an event? Who says it's an event?
I'm saying it's an event because it's coming out summer 2025. It's called Imperial. It says Jonathan Hickman presents the end of the beginning.
I think it's going to be like Gods.
Oh no. I mean,
but I
guess
it's going
that'd
to be
cool.
like it's like a here it is. Here's the series.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool. I'd take that.
Gods was great. I mean,
yeah, loved
no one read
Gods.
it.
No one read it, and I saw there was actually a couple of lists out there. We didn't do one, but like,
well, the year isn't over.
It's not.
It won't even
over
next
show. Week. No, that's true. Yeah, but there are a lot of like 2024, best of, worst of lists. I saw a couple of books on the worst of lists, including Gods. So people were like, God's the worst book of the year. And I was like, wow, you remembered it?
First of all,
enough to hate it that much?
You remembered it, and thanks for promoting it, because bad or good, you just got the name
out.
There. Second of all, I'm sorry you couldn't understand it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really what it was.
So sorry.
It was a good book. But and I think we have the trade. I don't remember if I got it or not, but I know I want to. Also, I'm excited because there is a.
Well, you know what it is? It's I'm sorry. It's not that it's a lack of understanding, because you can have a lack of understanding and still appreciate a book. Because I can tell you right now, I'm sure I 100% don't understand everything that happened in that book, but I can appreciate it anyway.
Yeah. Well, and you can appreciate it even if it's not necessarily.
Or I can look at it at least like, objectively instead of subjectively. But like, listen, it's a list. It's their list, whatever. So as long as they were saying it
wasn't a list necessarily. It was it was a thread of people contributing their thoughts. Sure. We were actually up for for best like comics personality in one of the lists. We lost to John Asantris from Word Balloon, but
okay.
I can't argue with that.
Fair.
John's a pioneer and a titan of the industry. So it's
That's
I couldn't
not...
think of a worse person to, or a better person to lose to.
There we go. You found it.
Yeah.
You found
but
it.
but you know, there's a bunch of lists out there about like best and worst and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and I'm sure you'll see books you've never heard of on there, and some of them will in Eisner's and whatnot. But
Sure,
Imperial,
sure.
yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that to me sounds...
That sounds like an event, or it sounds like a story.
That sounds like a story. That sounds like he just like... I'm wondering if Hickman's like, I don't want to like orchestrate anything beyond what I'm doing.
I don't blame him, but I did see there was an implication of an ultimate incursion.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe the Ultimate Universe, maybe Maker is gonna. It's interesting actually. There's two different periods right now happening at the exact same time, Marvel and DC.
Okay.
Where arguably one of the biggest bads of the main universe leaves.
Yep.
Creates their own universe.
Yeah. Well, one of them does it because they want to, and one of them does it.
No, they both wanted to.
I guess.
Darkseid wanted to create his own universe.
Yeah, I don't know why. One seemed more
deliberate?
More deliberate, and one seemed kind of like maybe he was like, uh-oh.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, I'm making a universe? I don't know. I don't know.
Am I over? Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, off I go.
Yeah, but I'll be back. But the thing is, he kept saying, I'm going to come back. They're both coming back to the main universe with their universe as a kind of like threat to destroy it or supplant it.
Yep.
I'm like, man, that'll be fun. 2 Secret Warses from 2 different universes. When the movie Secret Wars is coming,
you're gonna want those Warses.
You're gonna want those Secret Warses. But yeah, I think that's a funny time that we're in. But Hickman doing something Imperial. That's the only thing we got.
Okay.
Oh, that's all we know. And I'm like, ooh,
full Namor.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
There's a space background. I wonder if it's gonna be like, instead of it being like, here's a random story about a random guy that's magic, it's gonna be like, here's a story about the Shi'ar Empire.
Summer 2025. There's no way they're doing a Shi'ar book. And that's their... I mean, look, Marvel's terrible at marketing if they do it ever at any point. So yeah, it could be just a weird Shi'ar book about the Imperial Guard.
It's just about Gladiator.
Yeah. I would not read that.
Deathbird?
I don't find yeah, Deathbird? Maybe. Comics came out.
Where is Thanos right now?
Where is Thanos? You know, wherever he is, it doesn't matter.
Wait, could it be about the frickin' Inhumans?
Yes.
Could it?
Yeah, it could be Hickman bringing back the Inhumans. I don't want that.
Is it like in a vacuum, right?
Yeah, nature empowers a vacuum. There's no Inhumans right now, or maybe there's only like 2. I don't know.
Sorry,
see, endless speculation. Plenty of opportunity.
That's what you'll get here.
Mm-hmm.
Like way too many comics came out this week. That would be, my comic news would be, this was too much.
It was too much. Yeah, you have a point you want to make, and I want to give you the floor.
My point is simply that I love this. Like, I love that there are so many good books out there. I am not complaining about that. I love that there are so many great books out there right now for folks to jump onto, people to chat about. It feels good. We're not here just being like, like, I wish we were getting more of this, or like, well, we have to read this because it's an event that's coming out, but I don't love it. No, there's just so many great books that are coming out. Why are they all coming out at the end of this month?
Right.
Like, why weren't, like, some of them had to. Some of them had to. Some of them had to come out around now.
Yeah.
Just because of the nature of their timing. Like, if you're a book that comes out every 2 weeks, the book's got to come out. I understand. I just feel like you flooded the market this week, and my bill when I bought my comics was rather high. And that's not to say that, like, there are books that Sal and I will read. So if he buys it, then I can at least read his version of it, right? It's our own mini, not piracy. But, like, can you imagine if I had to buy, like, if we combined what we bought?
It would be, yeah, no, I agree.
A lot. And I know I'm not the only person who must feel like that this week was a lot. And I know it's like, you're spending the same amount, even if it's spread out over like a week.
Yeah.
But when it's the holiday times and you're going to be seeing family and friends or not, or you want to buy a little something more for someone else or for yourself or whatever. And then you're like, but I also got to read my comics that are coming out. Cause it's like, I got to keep up with Ultimate Spider-Man.
Right.
Tiffany forgot to read Absolute Batman.
Yeah. Right. And it's like,
she's literally looking at here right now.
Absolute Batman. Like, and things fall through the cracks. Things that absolutely.
How did I miss that?
Right. I think because Absolute Batman can take it. Like, Absolute Batman didn't hurt because you didn't read it.
No, it's true.
That being said, it is a comic book review show, so it will hurt because we won't get your insight into it. But I read it, so don't worry.
I'll just read it while you're talking about something
There
else.
We go. Perfect. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about G.I. Joe. You can read it.
Did you read G.I. Joe?
Yeah, I read G.I. Joe. Of course I did. Friend of the show, Joshua Williamson, co-host of All Stars,
Yeah.
a show you can get on this channel if you search. If you just subscribe, for the love of God, subscribe to this channel, click the bell for notifications, and like this video as well, and you will be rewarded by getting these things. Thank you.
To continue reading because they know you're not.
I'm not a Joe. I'm not a big GI Joe.
Is that
fan.
what they're called?
I don't know. See, I don't even know what that's called. But before we get into the comics, there's one more piece of news we should talk about because the chat is lighting up about it, and it is so unremarkable. It is so untremendous.
Okay.
That it completely slipped my mind, and it is that they announced the creative team behind the next run of Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay.
And it is Joe Kelly.
Oh, they must have given him some money.
Yeah, I don't think they did. I think that I think they just Marvel has completely leaned into the fact that no one cares. Like it sells no matter what. You know what I mean? Like you're good. But at least Pepe Larraz is the artist on it.
Oh, that's great.
So that's exciting.
That's great.
I saw a lot of interesting, or I shouldn't say interesting because it was all very vitriolic and angry, but like I saw a lot of kind of commentary about the new upcoming status quo / run of Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
With Joe Kelly at the helm.
How do they know what the status quo is going to be?
Well, they don't know the status quo, but they do know that like Joe Kelly wrote Amazing Spider-Man as part of the Brand New Day Brain Trust. Like basically that no one has written Amazing Spider-Man as a regular rotating cast member or writer that hasn't also worked on Brand New Day. And that like Marvel is afraid of getting like new life into this series or true new life into this series. Creatively, in terms of directing the line. Pepe Larraz is inspired in terms of decision making. Putting Pepe Larraz, it's like, oh, there you go.
Right.
Like, yeah, no, that's a brilliant move. I mean, get the best talent you have at your disposal. I mean, anyone working on the Fall of X series would have been a great choice for Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. But I could imagine most of those writers don't want that.
Absolutely not.
Light shined on them.
No, it's a miserable experience. I think Zeb Wells probably regrets ever having taken the job.
No doubt.
Because of like how he will be like, he'll be yelled at by people on the internet for the rest of his life because he wrote like a mediocre run of Spider-Man.
Maybe he doesn't care.
I'm sure he doesn't. He seems like a pretty put together person. But like, anyway, but they announced it's going to be Pepe Larraz and John Romita Jr. And it's like, dude, like, first of all, don't. Okay? If JR Jr. was doing covers, I'd be like, cool. But he's doing interiors along with Pepe Larraz. It's going to be night and day. It's going to be like reading Maximum Carnage when you get to those Alex Saviuk pages. It's going to be just like, whoa. I mean, like, I love Romita Jr. I appreciate the work he did. We're talking on Back Issues. We just did an episode of during the JMS, that Creator Babylon 5 run. And Romita Jr.'s art is like I feel so at home.
Yeah.
But that was 20 years ago.
Right.
And yeah, it's just like another decision that Marvel made that was not a decision. It's like the Amazing Spider-Man, more like the unremarkable Spider-Man, more like the uninspired Spider-Man, more like Spider-Mid. Like it's just here I don't know.
Even if it is, it'll be celebrated comparatively.
I know it won't, because
really
Kelly's already doing the palette cleanser.
Right.
People will not be like, oh well, at least it's better than Zeb Wells' run, because they're not saying it now. Or if they are saying it now, they're saying it quietly.
It's a swing.
It is. Is it a swing?
Yeah, we went from like.
Oh, it's a swing in terms of like talent.
I was gonna say it's a swing in terms of like, here's a supernatural story.
Yeah.
Like it's very like.
That's true.
It's like, yeah, we're doing with Spider-Man like day-to-day stuff, but like this is not like
this is not your typical Spider-Man stuff.
Day to day.
And you could tell like Wells wanted to kind of get it back to its roots. He wanted to get he wanted to do gang war again. He wanted to get like street level Spider-Man, and it was just he just couldn't pull it off. Nothing can be more night and day than 8,000 Spider-Man compared to like gang war, you know. Spider-Man getting like the tar kicked out of him and like coughing up blood into his mask into like a kind of like weird barf bag bubble on his face is certainly a change from like the Cyteract children attacking Spider-Man and him having mystical armor. But yeah, boo. It just says to me that Marvel threw up their hands and went, I don't know. Like they probably just sent out an all-call email and went like, who wants to draw Spider-Man? And Romita Jr.'s like, me, definitely. And Pepe Larraz is like, I'll do it. I didn't see anybody respond. Hey, I took I took a long weekend. Anybody not respond to this email? I'll do it. Pepe Larraz, thank you. Okay, great.
I mean, if you're Pepe Larraz, no one's going to give you a hard time about what's going on in there. Like, even if they don't like the story, they're going to be like,
well, it looks great though.
The Pepe Larraz page is
yeah,
great.
exactly.
I
mean, you can't.
As long as you get the right colors.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's just another it's another whiff, like swing and a miss from Marvel.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
I appreciate Joe Kelly. I think it's great. I don't think Joe Kelly was going to do this, and I think that Joe Kelly did it because they had no other choice, or Marvel didn't give themselves a choice, or they didn't see themselves as having a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really more like that, where Marvel's like, Joe Kelly could do the job, but is there an exciting author that we could get who wouldn't want creative freedom? You know, because right now
that's the thing about Joe Kelly. I just don't. I can't. I find it hard to imagine him being like kowtowing to editorial, unless he's just like, I don't really care.
I think it's
he's like, I have written so many incredible works, and I also don't do comics as my entire job.
Right? Exactly. I don't need it. You know. But again, you saw that Zdarsky left DC.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been the name and would have been very excited.
Mm-hmm.
The audience would have been like, "Oh my God, Chip Zdarsky's doing Amazing Spider-Man." But he's said on record, he's like, "I would never do that because it's too much optics, it's too much oversight. There's not enough fun. It's just not working."
Yeah, you need to have fun.
You need to be able to enjoy it. And there's
at least a Spider-Man. Spider-Man needs to have some joy.
Yeah.
Joy.
But at least there's Ultimate Force. So anyway, just as a really quick rundown, I read Jenny Sparks number 5. Jenny Sparks number 5, of course, from Tom King and Jeffrey Spokes. The Jeff Spokes art is really terrific. This is more just Jenny Sparks is trying to talk down Captain Atom from I don't know, taking over this bar, and I believe he murdered the Justice League in 2 issues ago. Now, this book is kind of weird. And I've said it a lot, and nothing really. I hate to say that nothing happened because you're learning a lot about people and about but even then, I have limits on this, and it's in this one it's fun because you get to see Clark and Bruce decide to recruit Jenny Sparks to kind of be their oversight. We need we need a character who can kill anyone on the Justice League, who can deal with us, who we can trust, who's been there, done that, who's who's got that kind of skill set.
Sure.
Jenny Sparks is a great choice. I like that idea. That's not the idea that's on display in this series, but it is a chapter in the series that we read for this issue. Just a lot of wheel spinning.
Okay.
But there is a really sad moment in it that is taken. It's a flashback to 2016, and there's this really kind of out of place moment that I don't think really works as far as it being weaved into the themes and the narrative of this issue and this series, but it's a good observation, and I thought it was interesting that it was put in there. I'm not going to get into it.
Okay.
If you read it, you'll get it, but it's, but you get to see Bruce and Clark hang out with Jenny Sparks, which is fun in its own right, but the whole Captain Atom thing, I don't know. It's for the birds. I'm not sold on this.
All right.
Mark Waid and Fran Gillan did Batman Superman World's Finest number 34, which is, of course, a wonderful series. In this case, Batman and Superman and Robin solve a problem in space with this dude with an eye. Robin makes an observation. Wait, aren't there 2 eyes typically in these kinds of things? Which is, I hate to say this, Mark, but Bendis had that idea during the Sorcerer Supreme arc that he did, where they're dealing with the Eye of Agamotto.
Okay.
I think Spider-Man says something like, maybe Agamotto just wants his eye back. And they were like, what? And that was kind of a fun thing. In this case, it's just this person was wielding an evil eye. It wasn't the evil eye, capital E, but
right.
It was still hey, aren't there typically 2 eyes? And it's yep, there is one, and it's used. It causes madness. They come to Earth. They use Arkham. Blah blah blah. Superman and Batman are sent into another. Superman, Batman, and Robin are sent into another reality, and Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, and Jimmy Olsen have to team up with their dogs, Ace the Bat Hound and Crypto the Super Dog.
What an interesting idea.
I know, and it's just a cute opportunity to show different characters doing different things, which is why I'm shocked that Mark Waid is doing a Justice League book in current continuity and not a Justice League World's Finest book. That's just like, here's everybody at any point. Like, it's just the Justice League Unlimited show, but set in the past, the like recent past.
That would be interesting.
I would rather read that.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, especially because like I haven't seen, because I feel like I read Justice League Unlimited #1 forever ago, and it's because I did, because I was sent a comp like months ago.
Okay.
So I'm like, where the hell is issue 2?
Right.
But yeah, this is a fine book. It is. If you are like, I miss real DC, or I want classic, fun, contemporary stories, or I want, old school feel with great contemporary art, World's Finest is your jam. You've got to pick up this book. It's just wonderful. But it's fun to see Jimmy and Barbara team up.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Right? So I like that. And I saw G.I. Joe #2, and I read G.I. Joe #2. Josh Williamson, Tom Riley, Jordi Belair are doing the colors. Tom Riley's art really shifted in this issue, and I don't know what it's all about, but it's very interesting to see, because it got a lot more cartoony and a lot more kind of like loose. And I'm not complaining, but I was like, did the same person draw this? Like, it felt really different from the previous issue. But we're showing that Cobra ain't playing. And, Duke has his work cut out for him. I really feel like, after having read this, I think Williamson would do a fantastic Captain America series, which I was like, I never would have pegged Josh for a Captain America book, but seeing how he handles Duke, he'd nail it.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, you get to see like a couple of characters don't make it. A couple of characters are altered forever. And maybe another character's infiltrating Cobra, and we're going to see where that goes. So yeah, it's a fun series. Even if you don't really know anything about G.I. Joe, or you stopped reading Transformers immediately after Daniel Ward Johnson stopped drawing it, like some people in this room, name me. And so, but I can still follow it, and I still enjoy it, and I still think it's fun. Is the Energon universe working? Is it gripping me the way that like Kirkman would have you think it is?
Right.
No, but it is still good comics. It's not like a farce.
Okay.
It's not all smoke and mirrors. It's just fine.
Okay.
But is it fine with a lot of money behind it or something? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Are we seeing shades of like the Dinesh period of Valiant, where it's like, those are some good books, and Valiant had no business making or spending the money they were with these books?
I don't know about that, just because of the fact that it feels like more people care about the properties.
Absolutely, 100%. Like, no, Valiant had a way higher uphill battle to fight.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, no. I mean, the Energon universe, I respect the hell out of the work they're doing and the talent they're putting behind it. And it's because of the talent that I'm reading it.
Okay.
As opposed to, I'm sure, a lot of other people who were brought in because they were like, no, I'm here because it's G.I. Joe.
Right.
Or it's Transformers.
Okay.
And I get it. I completely get it. But yeah, I read those.
Excellent.
I also read Wonder Woman. Do you want to keep going?
I have a few.
Yeah, jump into a couple.
I didn't get to read everything I wanted to this week.
I know. Neither
did I.
We were
celebrating a birthday of a friend of mine.
We did. We had, can we talk about that for a second? We went to the Poconos. Something that I've heard rich people tell me they were doing.
There's no. Rich people go to the Cape.
They do. Yeah, but I did. Yeah, but no, I don't hang out. I don't cavort with rich people. But people who are richer than me, they go to the. I've heard people talk about going to the Poconos forever.
Yeah, or Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, I would never go to Martha's. I went to the Hamptons once. I was like, what a mistake this was.
Never been.
I'm
not that person.
Well, I can't afford to take you, so don't worry about it. But but the Poconos in the winter with the snow was phenomenal.
It was really fun.
Now, when we say we went to the Poconos, a friend of ours rented like an Airbnb.
Yeah.
And it was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a wonderful time.
It was. We were only there for like a day. Really.
I never go on vacation in the winter. Or if I do go in the winter, it's to escape to a tropical environment.
I have literally always wanted to go to a cabin in the woods in the winter.
Yes.
Like that is like what I've always
wanted. Which
sounds
like a horror movie scenario.
Well, that's fine. And it's literally something I've always wanted, and it's been like an uphill battle to pitch that to you.
Yeah.
But now there's a little bit of proof of concept.
But I can tell you, by the way, this is not like our friend is rich and took care of it. It was just like, no, it just, I looked at the cost and and I was like, oh, this is actually completely reasonable. It's not far. And what an opportunity. And so like, we're going to try and do that at least every other year, if not like every year.
Okay.
And get 2 days away. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, but like that was awesome, and I loved every second of it. I'm especially sharing it with you. But
I was like, what
I
are
was
we doing?
excited to. But I'm excited to do more of that.
Yeah. But that's why, like, I feel like I'm like, it was like go go go, and like it was relaxing, but it wasn't like a lot of.
Well,
like,
we didn't have like
there
we didn't have
wasn't
like
like
4 days where you could spend
Yeah.
one day just sitting in a warm environment reading.
Yeah, like it wasn't like I could look out from the window and like just like sit and read my comics. There was no time for that. And
No
then we were
time.
back, and I was like,
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
What one other news thing that no one cares about was this morning we brought all 3 cats to the vet.
We did.
So, you know, pity us. No,
Yeah. Not just our ears or our arms or our wallets, but also just because like
we successfully wrangled all 3 cats to the vet for their yearly checkup. Everyone's doing well, got their shots, and everyone was you know, cranky about it. So
nobody walked away unscathed from that experience.
No, it's true. But anyway, that's why I'm like, I feel badly because it was just like I was like, I'll have time, and then there was no time. So like, what didn't I read? You'll not hear me talking about the question. I do have it purchased. I like to talk about that the next time we meet. Tin Can Society also fell by the wayside, and I also glanced over Namor. But I didn't get a chance to dig deep.
Yeah, I had every intention this week of catching up on Namor.
No, you did not.
I did. I pulled it up and I didn't get a chance to read it.
I'm
not.
That.
I did.
But let's
I did
talk
read
instead about something I did read. And by read, I put that loosely because it's a comic with no words. I read Gargoyles Winter Special #1.
Yay.
But it's from Dynamite. It's written, plot by Greg Weisman and Nate Cosby, with script by Nate Cosby and art by George Cambadias. I literally saw the cover for this and I was like, well, I might as well check it out. It's a winter special. It's probably a one shot, and it in fact is. It's charming and sweet and cute, and I loved it. It like sort of reminded me of It's Jeff without not being that at all. Like, it's not that whatsoever.
Dynamite could use an It's Jeff, I think.
But it's not that. Like,
no.
This is a story where it's like, it's the holiday winter time in like Manhattan, and the Gargoyles all go off to do things, and Hudson stays behind with Bronx and Boudica. I think that's her name. And
it's not pronounced Boudica?
No. And then Bronx decides to go off and have a little adventure, and it is just it's just cute. It's just cute and sweet, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was just fun. So yeah, like, I don't know. It was silly, but
a shout out to that wonderful book.
It was just a shout out, just a quick little shout out. There's cats and dogs and Bronx, and just he has a good time, and then it's very, very low stakes.
Right.
Like, that was the issue with this for me when I first started reading it. I was like, are we gonna have am I gonna be stressing about Bronx's adventure?
Is this gonna be like Appa, where it's like Bronx is gonna get taken and he's gonna be missing for like a whole
just
season?
Very sweet. So if that was holding you back whatsoever, don't worry about it. Just pick it up, check it out. Good times had by all.
Yep.
I also want to mention that I read Power Fantasy #5.
Yep.
From Kieran Gillen with art by Chris
Warnick?
Casper Wingard.
Casper Wingard.
Was it Chris Wildgoose?
Yes, you did almost say that.
Casper Wingard. This is it's Power Fantasy. It's a great book. An examination of superheroes and like their actual, like, what it would actually be like to have them in a universe, like in a real world, real Earth. So it's an alternate Earth in a sense, where it's like things are different, history is different.
Right.
But there are a lot of historical moments that are affected by these heroes or superpowered individuals from we don't know.
Yeah.
Some of it are people who just had powers, and some aren't. This gives us a little more backstory on some power players for sure. With giving us an idea of where things may or may not be going. And it also gives us a little essay in the back by Gillen, in which he mentions that, like, too many times, like, he's gotten letters from people asking, like, is this like a mini or a what or whatever? He's like, this is an ongoing, but it's an ongoing that has like a beginning, middle, and end.
Okay.
And so, like, for him, it's ongoing, that like it's not just a couple of issues or what have you, but it's like, I'm going to take the time I need for this story, which I appreciated, because he's like, I have maybe not done that sometimes, and I wish I had. And he's like, he's like, if we sat here and I was critical of my writing, like, I'd be here forever. And I'm just like, and yet I think you're a great writer. So to each his own. Everyone's always their own worst critic,
of course.
But I just thought that was interesting that, like, yes, it's an ongoing, but he has like an ending for it. I also wanted to point out, he says something in here that like hit me, right? Because it's like, first I want to say, I absolutely love this book. And if you're the type of person who enjoys or enjoyed Watchmen, or is always looking for like hero books that maybe aren't within the big two, you want to try that, or you just want to try something where there's like people with powers,
but you don't know them. It's not Batman.
Or if you enjoy the parts of Krakoa that were talking about, like, you know, the effect of Krakoa within the world and maybe some historical bits to it, you might be interested in this. Like, this is a book that it's like, when the first volume comes out, like, I'm just gonna have to buy and give it to Ethan because there won't be a holiday.
Yeah,
it's like early enough for me to do that. But
That's true.
feel like this is a book that he might really enjoy. And like, instead of me just pitching it, I'd like to just get him the first like volume
and just see what happens.
Feels about it, because like he would rather, well, honestly, he'd rather read it all probably at once, I'm sure.
No doubt.
But I'd love to just pitch it to him or give it to him and see what he thinks of it and have like someone else to chat with about it, right?
Yeah.
But in this like essay at the end, like he goes from like talking about his like writing and stuff like that to mentioning that like he's very thankful to how many like people have been like talking about this. Like, you know, he's been like, you know, hearing folks, you know, saying nice things about it. And like he writes, we're aware that all an indie book has is word of mouth.
Yes.
And seeing folks' mouths wording the hell out of it has been great. If people tell you how much they love, say, the new Batman, it's unlikely to mean much. But if you tell people about your favorite indie book, it's likely that this is the first they've ever heard of it. So
That's
cheers. And so I wanted to put that out to the community as well. That it's like, it is fantastic. And trust me, we will always talk about the big books, right? But like, if even you're in a group of other like-minded individuals who it's like, yeah, you're all talking about the latest Absolute Batman, you're talking about the latest Ultimate Spider-Man, you're talking about you know, whatever biggest book is on the docket, right? And you also have an indie book that you like mention it, shout it out, because the fact is they may have never heard of it before, right? And I was like, that was just such a very impactful thing. It's like, that doesn't mean don't talk about the others, but make sure
that they're better than the others,
right?
But just, you know,
that like Batman and Spider-Man and X-Men and all of them,
they're going to sell themselves.
They have their laurels and they have like years of marketing, movies and shows that like are helping them along.
Right.
And an indie book only has what we all talk about together. So there you go.
There you have it. Love it. I also I read Wonder Woman number 16. This is from Tom King and Bruno Redondo this time doing art, which was a welcome change. Not that I have any issue with Daniel Sampere. I love Sampere's work, and some of the best of his career is Wonder Woman. But this one is just an unabashed Columbo reference. The whole issue is just Columbo. Detective Chimp is brought in the previous issue. Wonder Woman and the Wonder Women all basically bring down the King of New York financially, and
the King of America,
I should say. Yeah, King of New York, King of America. But Detective Chimp is one part of the like plan that Wonder Woman uses to bring down this despot. And Detective Chimp is just investigating the death of Steve Trevor, who was actually murdered by the King of America. And so Detective Chimp just friendly / like he just annoys the crap out of him.
Right.
You know, goes to his house and he's like, "Oh, hello, you know, Mr. So-and-so. You know, and you know, I just we're very close to the end of this case, but I know I could just use one more thing from you." And literally there's a moment where like the King of America explains, like Detective Chimp like finishes his spiel, starts to leave, and then before he leaves, he remembers one more thing and then turns around. I'm like, that's just Columbo. And so yeah, and it's just an issue. It's an episode of Columbo by way of DC Comics. If you like Columbo, you're gonna love this. If you don't know who Columbo is, I think if I didn't know who Columbo was in any way, I would just love how they were depicting Detective Chimp.
Oh, sure. Oh, it's like if you've ever seen Tom King at a convention, there's a good chance he may or may not have been wearing a shirt that said the word Columbo on it.
Yes, or it's a quote from an episode of Columbo.
Sure.
Yeah, he loves his Columbo. But yeah, it's such a fun issue. But it's nice to watch like a piece of shit get brought down, and I think that's a really fun way to do it. There's also a fantastic backup in here as well, and that is it's just ridiculous. They've kind of like moved away from the Trinity, the you know, Damian and John and Lizzie story, but the backup instead is Jimmy Olsen punctuating the downfall of the Sovereign by way of TikTok. It's just a TikTok. Like every panel is a phone screen of Jimmy Olsen. Like,
Right, does Tom King
because
talk about TikTok?
he has a TikTok account. It is hacked every other Wednesday, but it's still there. Basically, Clark is part of the world tour of destroying the Sovereign in the public opinion. Clark uses his expert reporter skills to expose the Sovereign for what he is, and I'm like, that's really cool. I love it. This is a great issue, and in a series of bizarre issues of Wonder Woman.
Okay, fair. Fair. All right, let's take a look here. What else can I chat about? I mean, from what I saw of Namor, looks good. Looks like we dealt with his mom a bit.
Oh, cool.
In this, get a little history from Jason Aaron's perspective of the two of them, of her end, and who one of the last armies are. We also get some classic fit for Namor at the end.
Oh, yay.
Of this. So yeah, Aaron plugging along with this one. I also want to mention that I read Plastic Man No More #4, the end of Plastic Man's Black Label book, written by Chris Cantwell, with art by Alex Linz. This wraps up this 4-issue series for Plastic Man, and he's been dealing with the fact that he's seemingly his molecules are just falling apart. He's just having a real hard time. He can't keep himself together, and he has a whole circuitous plan that kind of brings him back to his roots of being a thief, and a bit of a villain, and making you question. It's what is he? What does he do? And having any sort of connection with his family, and did he let them down? And his relationship with the Justice League. And we've been seeing all of it, right? Yeah. And then he says it's he's doing this to save himself, but really to save his son, because he's he has my powers, and so what if one day this happened to him as well? But the fact is, it's I think when he digs deep, he's am I really doing this for him?
Right. Am I even doing it for him?
Yeah, yeah. So but we don't really that's not said to us. It's kind of, you can extrapolate that on your own if you choose to. He has a conversation with his son and with a scientist he's working with about how she lost her child and how it was her own fault, but she blames someone else and blah blah blah. So it goes on from there.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, he makes a choice, and the end of this occurs.
Sure. You don't want to spoil it, is what you're saying.
I don't want to spoil it. I definitely don't. But I will say the end of this depicts a Justice League that I'm I don't know how I'm supposed to take these guys, because they are oblivious and ridiculous, and it's originally, when this Plastic Man interacting with them, it seemed to be a critique of the way that he has been portrayed in comics, in the past. But the end of it, I'm oh, okay, they're all just delusional. I'm this seems strange that Batman couldn't have figured this out, but this is a Black Label book, so it's it's neither here nor there necessarily. But then there's an ending of this, and I'm it's kind of bizarre, because there's a level of ridiculousness to it that I'm kind of it seemed like you were trying to get away from that. It seemed like you wanted him to be,
you wanted a different tone. Yeah,
a different tone. You wanted him to be in a different place where he was trying to actually fix his life, fix his relationships, and do the right thing. And then the end of it, I'm what? What? I don't know how this hit me. I don't know if it's just I need a little more time to think on it. I don't know if it's an absolutely perfect ending for Plastic Man's book.
Yeah.
Or not. But
what?
I can't tell if it's total genius or just
kind of lazy.
Kind of oh, all right.
Yeah.
And now the book is over.
Oh.
Maybe I'm really in between those two.
Yeah.
Which is
interesting. You have to see some more discourse about it, if there is any.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I do wonder if fans of the character Plastic Man felt it was great, because it really, it gives you this hilarious sort of imagery with this strong foundation of like character growth.
Yes.
Like I don't know if it's like genius or not.
Or body horror.
I mean, body horror, whatever. Like to me, it's a little ridiculous, but I'm like, but it could be, like I said, genius. I'm not sure yet. I'm really not sure. I got to think back a little more on this one.
Yeah.
Another book ended this week for me.
Yes.
This was a hard one.
I'm sure.
This was a hard one. Dead in America, John Constantine, Hellblazer, written by Cy Spurrier with art by Aaron Campbell. It's over. It's come to a close. This gift, this additional 11 issues from a team. I mean, occasionally Campbell was not on the book,
Right.
but for the most part, from this team that brought me closer to Constantine that I had been in the past.
Yes.
I had read other Constantine books, but
You
like
loved other Constantine books.
I did, but like this felt like special because it was like I was on the ground floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's why some people get really attached to newer writers when they do like a run on something.
Or it's like they feel like they discovered them.
You get to feel like you're in the same boat with everyone else.
Yeah.
But also sometimes that doesn't work for me where I'm just like, nah, it wasn't as good as something else I read. This I really like connected with Spurrier's Constantine.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, in the last series, as I've mentioned, he really kind of, you know, took a critical eye to the
English.
British, to the British government.
Yes.
And in this one, he took a critical eye to
the
American government and the American landscape overall.
Okay.
And this issue was no different. I appreciated it. I thought it was done in a, you know, very fair manner, personally. Yeah. And I'm trying, so I really don't want to
no, I don't think you should
in this book. This was a perfect ending.
Okay,
for me.
I'm so thankful and gratified.
For me, this was a perfect ending to this series.
Aww.
And to Spurrier's run on it. Am I saying I would not want any more Spurrier? No, I'm not saying that. I would take more in a heartbeat. But if we never got any more of Spurrier's say on Constantine, it is perfect.
That's great. I'm so thankful that you got an experience like that because, like, comics, unlike any other media, are, I think, the you get the most opportunity for an actual, honest to God, perfect piece of entertainment media.
Yeah,
movies are the second closest,
right?
But because of how many moving parts and human beings are involved with the process, it's tougher. Yeah. And when it happens, it's even greater and a miracle. But with comics, what a wonderful gift that you were given, not only to see the continuation of the series, but also that you got a perfect ending to your story, which I think is fantastic. And again, like, because I can count on one hand the amount of perfect comic books I've read in my life.
Sure.
But it's ever growing because, again, like you pointed out earlier, I think, you know, despite the fact that, like, they dumped all their books that are must reads at the end of the month around the holiday season when nobody's got any money, was a mistake. It also is a good indication that, like, there are more great books being made now than ever before.
Absolutely. And for me, again, this one was bittersweet because
because it is the end.
I didn't want this to be over, and I actually almost didn't read it because I was like, well, if I never read it,
then it never ends.
It never has to end. But I'm so thankful that I did. It for me, this was just a perfect culmination of what Spurrier's like thinking and his philosophy on who John is. And the characters, some of the characters who he has introduced to us, and others who we know from other Vertigo Sandman universe, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, you just look at the cover and it's like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about here.
Yeah, characters. This cover's a little bit of a lie for sure. But I appreciate it because Campbell just wants to
look at the cover. He's wearing the classic Vertigo outfit,
so, like,
with Morpheus, with Swamp Thing. Like, is this essentially a Spurrier saying goodbye to Vertigo? I mean, like, look, it's not even Vertigo.
It's weird for him to be saying goodbye to it as it's relaunching.
I know. Isn't that frustrating?
And I would love for these two to have something when Vertigo comes back. I would love for Spurrier and Campbell to have a chance to do anything
with
under
Morpheus
the Vertigo.
Well,
just anything under the Vertigo label. They have every right to be under that label entirely. But yeah, so like this ending was very much like it puts the button on it. It does. It takes the journey that, you know, we've been going on with John about stories, about myth, about getting the sand back, about John, about where he is, about his relationships with others, and just finishes it all up in a really nice, neat package, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the last page of this is utter perfection. It's utter Constantine perfection, in my opinion.
Wow.
Campbell's art for this, he was clearly like, he knew this is it. I may never get this again. And I think he really brought it. I think he brought it wholeheartedly, from beginning, middle to end in this. There's a lot of great moments. There are pages and other issues of this series that I enjoyed more, but from soup to nuts, this issue was beautiful, even in its horror. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's
Mhm.
so good.
I saw a while ago, Spurrier tweeted on the cesspool that is Twitter. It says, "Today, the journey ends. Hellblazer Dead in America #11, the end of the road where the setting sun falls into the sea." And I was like, oh.
Yep. Yeah, no, and that's very poignant for the end of this.
Mhm.
But yeah, so if you didn't get a chance to read this, it has wrapped up. If you had any sort of interest in reading it,
Mhm.
you'll be able to read all of it at once. But I would highly recommend that if you haven't read Spurrier's previous run on Constantine, that you grab that as well, because it'll really help you to inform you as to who John is, where he is right now in his journey, because it's really important to the decisions that he makes. It can be read on its own, in my opinion.
Ah.
You might have a little bit of like learning curve right at the beginning for at least one character in particular.
Uh-huh.
But other than that, you'd probably be able to follow along with the plot that is presented to you there. But for me, it's just that character growth.
Yeah.
Not even character growth. They're
Character progression or journey.
yes, for John.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Love it. Congratulations on getting a great book.
Thank you.
This is a great opportunity for us to also mention that this show is sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, you can sponsor today's show by using Super Chats. But before we get into that, I should also mention that this show is part of a larger umbrella that is ComicPop. ComicPop is 3 different channels right now. It's got youtube.com/ComicPop, where we have a big pre-recorded show that I cut together that is almost 2 hours long most of the time. We break down a full story for you, and we get into the nitty-gritty if there is nitty-gritty to be obtained, and we get some commentary from people who are not comic book readers, contemporary comic book readers, and so they have no context for what's going on in the story, and ask a lot of questions that classic fans that like you and the folks at home might take for granted. So that's what's going on over on ComicPop. Here on ComicPop Returns, you'll get more podcasty kind of things.
Mhm.
But also, we have a gaming channel called ComicPop Plays, and that one is youtube.com/ComicPop Plays. And you can see that it could use a little love. We got a lot of great streams, and I should mention that Tiffany streams these shows pretty much twice a week.
Yeah.
Right now,
Well, that's not fair to pitch it this week, because obviously the 2 days that I normally stream.
Oh, it's the holidays, but they understand that. But listen, the reason why I've been mentioning it is because you have hundreds of videos on this channel.
I do.
Which are up to and including the Marvel Rivals game, which everyone's really talking about and enjoying. You have been streaming your experience with Marvel Rivals even before the game came out. I believe you were in the alpha.
Yeah, thanks to a member of our community. Thank you so much for sharing that out so that I was able to actually play the alpha. I was actually able to play the beta, and now I'm able to play it live. So it's been fun to see the changes. And I truly, truly hope that for fans of this type of play style, first of all, it is just Overwatch. It's just that. There you go.
Yeah,
if you enjoyed Overwatch, you'll probably enjoy this.
You're talking
game.
about them using their ult, but I also saw people within the Marvel Rivals development team calling it nulls, and I'm like,
it's just an ultimate. You just use your ultimate. That's fine. There aren't like 1-for-1 in terms of good characters,
right?
But like, if you could play Overwatch and you enjoyed it, you're going to be able to play this. It's just you're going to know the characters a little bit more because you're a comic book fan. There's also quite a bit of lore involved with it, and my understanding is they're coming out with a comic, maybe.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it would be stupid for them not to.
It would be stupid for them not to at this point.
But yeah. youtube.com/ComicPop Plays. Make sure to subscribe to that channel and so you'll know when she goes live to play these streams. By the way, if you're not a YouTube person and you prefer to watch your gaming streams on Twitch, we got you covered. Twitch.tv/ComicPop as well. But yeah, so getting back into the comics, I also read, I read a lot of stuff, but I'm trying not to like overdo it. I read Captain America #16, which is the conclusion of Babylon 5 creator JMS's run, this time with Carlos Magno on art. This is just JMS putting the toys back in the box or fixing things that he thought were broken, like the death of Broxton, Oklahoma, or poor Bill not getting to hook up with that great Asgardian lady. This wraps up all that. Captain America is not in this book, basically. He fights some ghosts with Spider-Man while Thor saves the day. Actually, Bill saves the day. But Broxton is restored. Everything's back to normal, and Spider-Man and Captain America have weird interactions that in no way reflect their previous interactions when JMS wrote them in Civil War. The book was weird. I can say this having read it from beginning to end. This was a weird book that was not always coherent, but its heart was in the right place. JMS is not a bad writer by any stretch of the imagination. So even when it was not hitting, it was still entertaining.
Okay.
And so I think it will be a forgotten run of Captain America overall, because it didn't have any big, bombastic, impactful moments. But people will cite it when or if Broxton is brought up again, or if JMS takes over for Thor at some point. So yeah, it was a weird series, but I was glad I checked it out. But
who's taking over for Cap? Do we know?
I don't recall, but I think this book ended advertising the Sam Wilson Captain America book, which is a brilliant idea because Sam Wilson's going to be Captain America in the new movie coming up.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I read that. I also read.
Can we talk about New Gods?
Yeah, we need to talk about New Gods because you also read New Gods, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ram V.
I didn't
Jorge
get to read
Fornes.
it when you read it.
No, it's true. But Ram V and Jorge Fornes's New Gods #1. By the way, if you were a subscriber to this channel, you probably caught our conversation with Ram V, not just streamed on this channel, but also from New York Comic Con. I got to sit down with Ram and we got to tease up the New Gods in this series. And so I was well prepared for the weirdness and the depth of dope that this book carries. And so yeah, you'd be very wise to check out those interviews that we do on this channel, because they harbinge things that might be on people's radar. Moreover, as the word of mouth that Gillen talks about, kind of like reaches.
For me, this was an interesting bit of business here, right? Because obviously, as someone who is like aware of the New Gods, but not like a huge like
fan,
right? It's like, all right, my fandom ends at Mr. Miracle and Barda.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
maybe like, Orion.
I don't love Orion.
You're aware of Orion.
Okay, that's not fair. I'm not a fan of him though. Like, I'm aware of Light Ray, but I'm not like, ooh,
yeah.
Like High Father, I'm like, you're a dick.
Always.
Like in every universe.
Yeah.
You're just a dick.
Right. Cartoon, comic, movie, whatever. Yeah.
But I thought this did a really good job of capturing the like dense out there-ness of like probably some of the other New Gods books,
yes.
Of just that nature of this type of celestial lore.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, Ram understood the assignment. And
but also made it incredibly approachable. Like, I feel...
Despite pages like this, but these, but this indicates the grandiosity.
Yes.
That you would hope for in a book that has gods in the title.
Right. So, I mean, I thought really well done.
Yep.
There was only literally one moment that for no reason like completely broke my brain.
Yeah.
And made me go like, what is happening?
What's happening?
What is happening?
Mm-hmm.
What? And then I was like, wait, that's not in continuity necessarily. Never mind, moving on. And it's Mr. Miracle.
Yep.
Having a child.
It's a new child.
It's a girl.
Yep.
And that I was like,
yeah. Right.
Like,
and I don't.
Like, it was just short circuiting my brain, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
this is, and that is
right. But I don't know. Maybe they have another child. Maybe this is their second baby.
Maybe.
But Mr. Miracle
says that he's learning it all.
I know.
So,
yeah. But Mr. Miracle also, like, it needs to be in a vacuum. That series can't.
No, I agree. But like, if you read that and that, like,
oh no, then you're like, wait, this reminds me of that.
That's what
I had
I'm
the exact
saying.
same experience.
That is what I'm saying. It made my brain go to that, and like, I was like, but that's not
this.
Yes. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The star of the book is Rosmozar. Or is it Rosmo?
No,
I'm sorry, Jorge Fornes.
Well, there's two.
Oh, and Evan Cagle.
Evan Cagle is the actual...
Evan Cagle crushes this book.
Yes.
The art from Cagle is, and I knew it would be, and I saw it. We had pages that were teased, but like, Cagle is doing the work of his career with this series. It's just.
But I think the first 4 pages are not.
Yeah. I don't. It's a beautiful book.
Oh, it's great. It's very energetic. Like, there's a lot of energy in the pages. There's a lot of energy in the panels. It's giving Doctor Strange rise, fall.
Full sunrise.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Like it's giving that type of coloration. It's giving that type of like interesting body proportions.
Yes.
At times where they're like over exaggerated,
Mhm.
but in a fun, energetic, exciting way,
Mhm.
and not in a it's incorrect.
Right.
Like this is done intentionally, and I like it.
Yes.
There is one panel right at the beginning. Hang on, that one. This one. I don't know why.
God.
I love this panel. I love this panel so much.
It's so weird,
it's
but so cool.
Weird. And like I was just like, this for some reason, like it gripped me.
Yeah.
Gripped.
I'm like, oh, this is the world. This is the book we're
me.
getting. And it's interesting because, like, here's the thing. If you love the New Gods,
Yeah.
you might have a problem with this series because it is not Kirby's New Gods. It is something new. It lives up to the promise of the New Gods.
Yeah.
If you are a fan of the characters that are associated with the New Gods, like
Yeah.
Ray, Mr. Miracle, Barda, Orion, you're gonna dig this because, like, here's the thing. Here's the pitch. The pitch of this book is: there is a prophecy that a child of the New Gods will be born on Earth,
Mhm.
and it will change everything.
Yeah.
And Highfather immediately assumes it is the child of Scott-Free and Big Barda and sends Orion to murder it. The book.
Oh, that is not what I took from this.
The book is about
That's
Orion.
what you think that it was?
The book is about Orion being sent to murder Mr. Miracle's child.
No.
That's what it is.
No.
Yes.
I don't think so. My read on it was that we, the readers, are meant to think that.
Mhm.
But Orion's coming to him because he's just like,
No,
I have to, or sorry. Yeah, Orion comes to Scott. He's like, I have to find this kid on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you better find him first. And
No.
get him out of here.
No, Orion is like, I'm giving you a head start.
No. That is not my thought. That is not what I thought.
Okay.
That is not my read on it. How about that?
All right.
That's not my personal read on it.
Yeah.
My personal read on it was that it was Orion coming to him going like, listen,
Mhm.
like you, the reader, think I'm here to kill this kid.
Yeah.
Orion's like, you got to go find him.
Right.
Like he's out there. You got to go find him. And if you don't, then everything's over. And it's all your fault. It's actually not gonna be my fault. It's gonna be your fault. I can't not do what I'm meant to do.
I got that.
This is my job.
Right. Exactly.
Right. But he's like, I'm gonna give you you got 7 days. I am Samara, and you have 7 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Sal did read the whole book, but he read it way before.
I read it like months ago.
Yeah. So like,
sorry.
Please don't give him a hard time.
No, it's all right.
He had a chance to read it before any of us had a chance to read it. So like, I read it today.
Yeah, exactly. Look, no, I do this for a living. This is my job, and I can handle someone saying that I didn't read the entire book, even if I like misread a moment in the book
or just didn't remember it exactly.
Exactly. No, it's fine.
But it allows us to have discourse, which is. Like what my lesson here was.
It's more important to be right, though.
No, it isn't.
No, of course. It is more important to be right, and you are. So that's
I prefer to think of it as an opportunity that, like, regardless of correctness or not, that art is subjective.
Yeah,
and it's fun to actually have a conversation about different interpretations of things. But anyway, so like I seeing Scott though with the baby.
Oh no, it completely brought you into.
I was like what?
Oh, we're doing this again, or you know.
But also, like, this does not make me think that Orion is anything less than like just like he can't help but be only Darkseid's son.
Of course.
Like I'm just like,
but also like, aren't you just being? I mean, like, and Highfather's exploiting it by being like, I need you to be as ruthless and as terrible as Darkseid. Like, I need you to be the thing that we actually traded you to not be. But I'm cashing in on that now.
Yeah, exactly.
That moment where he asks Light Ray to like, or he asks for He sends for what you assume is Light Ray. And he's like, no, not you.
No, he's like, no, you're okay.
You're a good boy.
You're fine.
Like, I'm not going to send you to murder people.
You sweet summer child.
Yes, exactly.
No.
This is one of the, I need to assassinate a child. That's not your job. Light Ray.
Yeah. But like the image of Highfather, talking with Metron. Just the wild backgrounds just great, great takes on these characters design wise. And again, a lot of interesting imagery within the books itself.
Yep.
The colors for me really sell this as like it being a New Gods book for some
Exactly.
reason.
Yeah.
Like making it a little less standard
Mhm.
in terms of palette
Oh, it is
and color
not.
choices.
No
really
other
well
book
done.
on the stands looks like this book,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is a high compliment. By the
Oh,
way.
for sure. For sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
like
New Gods kills it. It's
I
great.
am definitely looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Mhm.
I will say interesting choice to on the page with the child who is
Who is
this
the
new god
target of
who will,
assassination?
you know, have like blue coloration and white eyes, to have the word avatar be on there. And I'm sorry, not have me think of Aang.
Yeah.
I just I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
No.
Is the Fire Nation about to attack?
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, spectacular last page too. Just a gorgeous.
Oh
book.
no, really good stuff. Good,
Yeah.
great stuff. I won't lie. I was all here though for the Scott Orion conversation.
Oh yeah.
Like that is what I am. I eat
That's
that
what
stuff
That's
up.
what I'm there for. Is that? Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
So yeah, we read that. And
big swing for a New Gods book. I'd
oh,
say.
I think so too.
And I think that
it have to be. You can't just put out.
I think that
like a New Gods book without
what
being.
ROM has going is that folks have always probably had interest in understanding New Gods.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if this is going to be treated like the Gaiman Eternals run for a lot of folks who are just like, I'm going to read this and now I have some idea.
Now I can understand what the hell's happening.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I should apologies, but also I wanted to mention it because you pointed out like the whole independent books need to be pointed out and mentioned. I am enjoying The Moon Is Also Following Us, but it's not. I didn't read it this issue this week. But it's
so much came out.
I know. I just didn't get a chance.
They're about to send Zuko.
The Moon Is Following Us is such a good series, and I haven't had a chance to read the issue 4. It feels like it was just a week ago that issue 3 came out.
So I don't know what happened over the past few weeks. It feels like how we were talking about like decompression in comic books, it's just compression. I feel like we're just like living through compression.
We are.
I'm just like,
yeah, where it's like, oh, that was 3 years. Thanks.
Yeah.
Did you? Is this it, or are you good?
Yes, I am good here. For
All
sure.
right, then I read Absolute Batman number 3.
Wait, what about Ultimate? Are we doing that last?
Oh God, yes, yeah.
Which one? Oh no, do Absolute.
No, Absolute Batman. Yeah,
do that. I read while you were talking. I read the first few pages of it. So feel free to talk about it, but like I want to bring in on one thing I noted. But yeah, go for it.
Absolute Batman number 3, Nick Dragata, Scott Snyder, the continuation of the Absolute version of Batman. Batman's fighting the party animals. Last issue, he and Alfred have gotten into the Batmobile, which is the size of a building, and are trying to escape capture. And the issue is fantastic. But I will say that this is the issue where I went, okay. Not that, and it's the same criticisms we had in the last 2 issues, where it's just it's not bad and it's not poorly constructed.
Right.
There's just too much. There's a lot going on in it, and it's the kind of like here is my compliment slash complaint.
Okay.
My complaintment about this book, which is that like it's like when a kid.
Okay.
And I don't want to pick like a toddler, like a kid, like someone who's under the age of like 18.
Yeah.
Finds out that they love something. Like when they first find that thing.
Right.
And they want to tell you everything about it.
I mean,
right now.
I feel like that's me sometimes.
Right. But like they want to tell you everything they learned about it, and it's unlocked something in their brain, and they just can't, and it's just like like, I love how excited you are. And I may have gotten a couple of things out of that. But you need to take all that energy and you need to like stretch it, or compartmentalize it in some way.
Yep.
And it's so fun to read a book like that by someone like Scott Snyder, who, for all intents and purposes, could coast or could be cynical about everything.
Yep.
It could be like, I made the Court of Owls, you're welcome, and then just literally phone it in for the rest of his career. But like Scott's energy is that of a young kid who has just so many ideas and he's just so excited to show them to you that you're all he's all in.
Right.
This issue, we could have just done the Alfred Batman party animal story.
Sure.
But Batman and Alfred. Alfred thinks that he's playing Alfred thinks that he's playing / convincing Batman, and he's actually being played / convinced by Batman. That's fun.
Yep.
That's all you need.
Yep.
But also, we needed the flashback stories about Batman and Selina. But also, all these sequences are important and are essential to the character.
And that's what I wanted to say, because of the few pages that I had a chance to glance over, it appears to be that like Scott is decided that we need to understand, like, if you have a Batman who doesn't have the finances of Bruce Wayne from the regular universe, how does this Batman achieve his incredible skills to do the things that he's doing?
Yeah.
And it seems like what we're doing is we're going with, well, he just has really talented friends.
Yes.
And I was like, that's kind of fun.
Yeah. I mean, he's also gloms onto it and takes that information for himself.
Yes.
He does it by having friends.
And I'm like, that's kind of fun. Like, I have friends, as opposed to the other Batman who's like, I have money.
I have money and children. I have family. I have people that owe me.
Right. But I found those. I didn't always have those.
No,
like,
it's true.
Money was my friend.
Yeah.
Because it afforded me the ability to train, and my training is what kept me sane.
Yeah. No,
and in this,
true.
it's like my friends taught me things they didn't even know they were teaching me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Nick Dragotta draws adorable cats.
He does. Yeah, Dragotta really is just doing some incredible work. I've never really enjoyed Nick Dragotta, but now I love Nick Dragotta. So it's just so funny to see.
I will say this, like, it's not really whatsoever. I'm going to make a joke incoming, everyone. That this, of course, the idea of like friendship being his greatest superpower leans into Scott Snyder's Care Bear Stare.
Friendship / collaboration is the key, and always,
and that's fine.
Saves the day. It's absolutely true,
and that's fine.
That's fine. You know what? I actually kind of appreciate the optimism in the world of today.
Yes.
And if I'm gonna give him more dings, I don't love this cover. I think this is a fantastic panel, but I don't think it necessarily, like, it's not as big as the previous two covers were.
They can't all be big, because then you lose it. Like, if every cover is more big, if it's like big, bigger, biggest, biggest, you're gonna lose it. Like, it won't have an impact when it needs to.
Yeah.
So you have to have covers like this. Where
I know.
Like, there's Batman. Look at him. He's jumping around.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and I recognize that it's not just a panel that they blew up.
Oh, sure. No,
but I also, the thing is, I saw this. That's the problem. That's my real problem. Is that I saw in a previous issue. I saw this fight in another issue. So I'm like, is this just like an alternate cover for issue 2?
I guess it could be.
My like old school comic book brain is just like, but yeah, did you go? Because like it takes, like, I've seen the like progression pages for different cover. Like, could this have just been like a rejected cover for issue 2, and they didn't have time to do issue 3's cover, so he just used the, like, I don't know. It just feels like you're just doing it.
That's funny, because for me, I kind of like this cover, but I'm also not looking at it next to the others that have
Yeah, I like the color.
Okay. I like a lot of the energy in it, and I like the layout of it. I like the fact that, like, there's like tension between Batman and the characters.
Yeah.
I like the motion in it. I like the fact that it is like a cover that doesn't lie necessarily.
That's true.
Either. Like, I appreciate this cover for what it is.
Yeah.
And like, let's be honest, like, we're getting to know this Batman, and this Batman is meant to be a little more like grounded in the fact that he's dressing like a bat and driving around the city in a huge tank thingy. But like, you know what I mean? Like, so like, I appreciate this cover's like, it's kind of like a working man's cover.
Right.
Like, I kind of appreciate it.
All right. I hear what you're saying. So yeah, Batman and Alfred, like, they talk, because Sionis like offers Batman like $100 million to knock it off, and Alfred kind of explains, like, and I love it because like my complaintment about this is that, like, Scott's approaching this like with the youth of a young man, like Batman. But like Alfred is also maybe like Scott's experience, being like, hey, like, you can't just throw caution to the wind and just take your ideals and throw them at the wall and hope it works out. Like, think about how more effective you could be. Think about the Batman with $100 million or with riches. Think about like the money and the cars and the, all the tech you could do, and how insulated you could become as a result. Like how effective you could be.
Right.
And you as the reader go like, but we have that, so there's no way he's going to take the deal.
Mhm.
And but you also understand it from the perspective of Alfred, who's like I'm 60 or 50 or whatever, like I have the experience and the like the life that I have to know
Mhm.
when you should like pick your battles. And he's like, and you'll still you'll even achieve what you want if you just let him go now, and I'll take him out.
Yeah.
But like I love that, and I think that's
Yeah.
so cool and interesting, and like like unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know what Batman's plan is. Like, as I can't really get into his head just yet. We don't see into his head. We see his life. We see behind the curtain. We don't see in his mind.
No, we kind of get more like we're watching him do things, and we're getting more like the ride-along character of ourselves.
Yes.
We're like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's true. But Batman interacting with Riddler is great. That's obviously setting up for like, I think Nickman's gonna die, and I think he's gonna be replaced by the robot. And it'll be kind of like a Two-Face situation where it's like, Batman's always like, Harvey, no, and it's like, I betrayed you again, ha ha ha. And it's like, this is a Batman who's like, oh, because Nigma keeps saying like, or Eddie keeps saying like, hey, just don't talk to me, talk to the robot. The robot or the AI is me. And it's like, it's not though. And I can imagine like him dying or being gone and being like the only tether he has to Eddie is the AI that he created, but it's also so not you. Like, I was right, but I also don't have any other you to fall back on. Right. So now I I think there's some great narrative opportunities here. And I can imagine that Scott will do them all in issue 5 because like there's just no time. And I'm like, there is.
But we don't know how much time there is.
And I don't know.
And that's like, and I appreciate that too, because it's like on the outside of this, we're all just kind of like, obviously the absolute universe, I feel like eventually it has to come to some sort of head.
Yeah.
To some degree or not.
Right.
So we don't know what that timeline is. And for right now, until DC announces some sort of
big event where they all cross over,
where it's like, oh, okay, now I understand that we're racing to this. I have no idea what their timeline is.
No.
Like, is it like a year?
Right. Is it 10? I don't know. I assume. I mean, like, look,
but I kind of like it.
The all-in book promises that there will be a reckoning.
Oh, sure.
And a crossover.
Right.
But yeah, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds that we've already gone, but like the character stuff is great. The action is great. The story is engaging and fun, but there's a lot, and every issue there's a lot. And I'm like, you could have done any one of these things could be an arc. And I think it's like, yeah, but I did that. I did that stuff back with Capullo with Real Batman. Like, this is something else where it's like, maybe there is no time. I don't know. But
no time.
Great. It's a great issue. Ultimate Spider-Man number 12 from John Hickman and Marco Cicchetto.
From some folks, who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. This is the end of the first year.
Yes, we've made it a full year.
And fun cover. Complete lie, as you would expect, like every cover of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, but you know what though? Like they're giving them to us as images. Like, I don't think we're meant to be sold on it from these covers. At all.
Yeah.
But
no.
What did you think of this?
I mean,
I'm looking forward to these.
It's a fantastic read. I mean, this is the kind of book that you're in for. If you like read issue 12 and you went like, what the hell? Everyone just stood around talking to each other. That's issues 1 through 11 as well. I was more fascinated by the implications of the family stuff, where I was like, I've never met Mary Jane's mom.
I know.
Mary Jane's mom died.
Yeah.
Like early.
Yeah.
Not like young, but like early.
Yeah.
I mean, Gail. We never see Gail.
And there she is.
And she's in this, and she's like interesting because Gail's the one who had kids. In the real universe, Gail had the kids, and MJ bailed on her. And she's like, I'm not going to be like you. I'm going to have a life.
Yeah.
And Gail is like, now this is Gail's response to Mary Jane having done that instead and not knowing it. I'm like, I love it all. And I hope Hickman using these characters makes me think like, okay, he does know them.
When the sister showed up, I was like, I literally cannot wait to hear what Sal has to say about this, because of the fact that you have brought up this sister before.
I have. I've brought up, but like, I know I have a Gail story for Marvel, and now they've done it. So I'm like, oh, well, they're out. But like, I love it. I was like, no, it's just, I love it because I'm like, thank you for remembering these characters and for remembering their history and like showing them and having this be like really awkward, really an uncomfortable story with like really uncomfortable people. Like, none of these people, like, it's very real, where it's like family, even fictitious family. You see it on screen or in comics all the time. You know, Ben Parker's gravestone used to say he was love, or he was loved. Like, love is in the air, love is in the walls. Like even like that Minority Report scene where like the friggin' precog is in his house and she's like, I smell the love on the carpet, and here's what happened to your dead son. Like, I love this is people who all are family, and none of them would be friends with each other.
Yeah.
Like Ben dragging Jonah to this thing. Jonah's a family friend. I know what it's like to have a family friend come to a big function, and it's wonderful. It is not like when Jonah's there, where Jonah's like, oh, good, anyone else? Talking to, like, you know, the boy, Richard.
Well, they have
a connection.
They have a connection.
He read his book. But, like, that's so interesting. Gail and
no, that's
MJ
what it's like
mom,
to invite Jonah as a family friend to your...
Yeah, but, like, no, but it's all there, where it's like there's a lot of, this is what it's, not what it's really like, but what it can really be like, where it's like, this is Christmas with these people.
Yes.
And it's not like the Parkers in 616.
No, not at all. But it felt real.
Yeah,
and that's
it did feel real. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at.
Hickman has a lot of like talents, and not only being able to mastermind like, you know, a long running story or like a lot of threads within a story, but to be able to write dialogue that convinces you that these characters might be real.
Yeah,
like that like he's just tapping into something that already exists.
Yeah.
And like the conversations between Mary Jane and her family.
Oh yeah, so real. So
like,
and like just and distilled, like where it's not like they're saying platitudes, but they're not just like, it's not long. If it was a Bendis issue, it'd be a triple sized issue.
Oh yeah, no, it's not long, but it's exactly the length it needs to get the point across. But it also supports Mary Jane as like who she is.
Yes,
like, everything that happens.
MJ is not putting on a face. In fact, I kind of love that. Like, we're getting insights into. Remember, this is the 616 universe with time travel.
Yeah.
So like, this is real Mary Jane. Which also is Hickman's quiet way of being like, Peter's like 30, just so you know.
Yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
But like, so is Mary Jane. But MJ has always worn a mask. This is an MJ who never had to.
Yeah.
So watch this Mary Jane. Like, this is my life, and I do not apologize for it. It's just like really interesting.
It's really interesting, and like it really informs, you know, what she does for a living, her career.
Yeah.
Like she is like. She outwardly like is just like, I expect an apology from my sister.
Yep. And it's like, you ain't gonna get one. But also I appreciate that she's like, but I want one.
But I want one. But also like when like she compromises, like it just like it shows you the way in which she like deals with her family, her day to day, like her children and her husband. Like the way that she's working with Peter in terms of like him being Spider-Man is supported entirely by the way she handles talking with her sister.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
that's so
Hickman's
smart.
Like, here's my thesis, and then here's the evidence to support it.
Right. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well,
okay,
you got me there.
Go for it. You know, her mom of it all going after Ben.
It's so funny.
Bizarre, but also feels more like it's less about like her actually doing that and more about like her
getting
mom
power.
Yeah, wanting to have like influence over her daughter's life.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, and I love that because like Jonah wants MJ's mom. And MJ's mom wants Ben.
Yes.
I think Ben wants Aunt Anna.
I think Ben. Well, because that's
Ben says it. Well, they leave it nebulous where he's talking about who he sees and who he likes, and I'm like, oh, it's Anna.
Oh, it's 100% Anna. But I think that's so funny because it's like Aunt Anna and Gail.
Yes.
No, not Gail. Mary Jane's mom.
Oh, yes.
It are like they're sisters,
right?
Obviously, but they're like they are just Ben and
Jonah. Yeah.
I'm like,
true.
What the hell?
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And of course, you know, we have like their daughter being a complete kid.
Oh,
in this, being like, can I use your
phone? But also, that's so great, so important.
It's
like,
so
to
important
the story
for a number of reasons, right? We have like the tension of the phone in there, and I'm like, I love
Gwen
that.
keeps calling, and I was like, oh,
love that. 2, it also shows us the way in which Peter and Mary Jane raise their children.
Yeah,
they don't have a phone. She doesn't have a phone.
She didn't have a phone.
No. I gotta ask, like, even at her age, I have to ask mom. For
I also
phone.
love,
and mom's like, you're around a whole bunch of adults. I totally get it.
I
get it.
Yes.
Here you go.
Here you go. You can screw around with this, and she's just playing a game. I love what we see with the relationship between Gwen and MJ and the Parkers now, where it's like, no, I'm not taking that call.
Yes,
I don't want to hear from Gwen.
Well, I think it's more like she's like, I have enough.
Yeah, I'm dealing with
Like,
enough.
because every time the phone comes up, she's either dealing with her mom.
Yeah,
or
that's
sis-
true.
You know what I mean? Like, it's always at this moment where she's just like, I have to deal with this right now.
Mhm.
I can't ignore this. This is my family.
Yep.
I have to take care of this. And then when there is an open opportunity, she's like, all right,
Fine.
I have to take
Keeps
this.
calling.
Um,
And of course, there's the Peter not talking.
okay, so that was like
I thought that was a narrative device. I thought he was doing a thing. He's like, let's see if I can get a whole issue where he doesn't talk.
I legitimately didn't think about it. In fact, I was taken instead, and I think this was Hickman's original desire, is when Mary Jane is like just talking at him and she solves her own problem, that this is what Peter does.
Mhm.
Peter's like, sometimes
you just talk it out.
she just needs to say it out loud. I
Mhm.
don't have to do anything except listen, and then we move on. Sometimes I have to participate, and I will,
Mhm.
but like sometimes she doesn't really, I don't need to, like, I'm just here as a sounding board.
Exactly.
At the end of it though, like I literally went back through
Yeah,
it.
and
Like,
you went, oh, look at it. Yeah, so great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the question of like, is that what did Peter set up the suit to do that? Or is the suit overstepping?
See, that's so funny that you thought it was the suit. Like, I was like, I didn't think it was the suit. I was like,
I
is
didn't
there actually a symbiote in this universe?
Yeah, that's the suit. That's
But like, I didn't, like, for some reason, like my brain took it
Mhm.
in another direction where I was just like, yes, there's the suit,
Yeah,
but also
right.
there is like a symbiote out there.
Oh no. Well, if they are, they're on Clintar or something
Fair,
like that.
fair,
Where
fair,
the
fair.
hell?
Yeah.
Pete didn't bring it back. He didn't go to Battle World.
Yeah, that's true. Why
And
would
that being said, I guess there were like Vietnam ones and stuff. Thanks, Donnie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great reveal. There's a great
Yeah,
like
it's a great reveal, but it's like it is Hickman, I think, like historically mimicking when MJ meets the black suit.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, like
where she's just helpless, or she feels helpless and
well,
scared.
or it's just the two of them.
That's right. It impersonated him. The first time that
Yeah.
MJ meets Venom, it is impersonating Peter.
Yeah, like it's just Hickman like hitting those historical moments, but like with characters who are different. Where like
Yeah.
MJ is not helpless; she's like, okay,
What's going on? Yeah.
But that like terror for Gwen, where she's just like, it's been 6 days. I'm like,
Right. Oh shit. Yeah. Fantastic issue. Great art. And just a dynamite reveal
yeah,
and a fun
great issue.
Yeah.
Great issue.
Yep. But like, how could we? I mean, like, is there going to be a dud? No.
I hope not.
But I'm just saying, like, it's like, yeah, banger after banger. Like it's
not
going
done.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get superstitious about that one a little bit.
But yeah, I loved it. All right. So let's jump into some super chats.
What's your book of the week?
My book of the week is Ultimate Spider-Man.
I mean, that's completely fair. And in any other week except this, like,
it's a tough call though, because Absolute Batman was great. It was great. I actually enjoyed Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
New Gods is also worthy
Gods
of pointing out.
Like, it's a fantastic start, like start to this, and for me, like that would have been an easy one to go with because
Yeah.
it's like strong
Mhm.
start. Power Fantasy just continuing its incredible
Exactly.
run for me. But I think without even me having to open my mouth, we all already knew that it was going to be Helena Winhorn from several weeks ago, that it was going to be John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America, issue 11, the final cap of that series, that run. And and what a run.
Yeah.
What an incredible run. And I'm just so thankful. And I hope other folks who maybe weren't interested in it, if you are ever interested in Constantine, that one day you do find this book, because there's a lot to it. There's a lot in there. And every time I've ever gone back to reread an issue or refresh myself on something, there's always something else to take away from those.
Yeah.
Spurrier just is a very insightful mind.
Mhm.
It can be at times maybe a little like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not jarring,
Mhm.
and not like cruel,
Right.
biting.
Yeah.
There's definitely a level of sarcasm,
Sure.
a little bit. But I think the points are fair.
Yeah.
And the point of that book is to make you think.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not a takedown.
No, I mean, at times it can
Sure.
be,
But like, and sometimes you deserve a takedown. But like, it's
meant to make you think.
Yeah.
And
All right.
yeah. Anyway.
Nick Palmer says, Sal, you asked me what my favorite back issues was. While too many to list, I deeply love Dark Knight Returns with your parents. Probably my all-time favorite. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm glad you like that. That's nice.
I love that.
Yeah. Arduit, happy whatever, y'all. Thank you for amazing content and heart you put out. Thank you very much. That's very
Thank
kind.
you. You're so
You've
sweet.
helped me not only stoke my own passion for comics, but encouraged me to help others get into them, help my local comic shop carry comics now, or my local game shop carry comics now.
Hey,
That's
that's
great.
great.
Nice.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Jamzilla, happy holidays, ComicPop. Ultimate Spider-Man 12 had some excellent family drama with some cool teases for future stories. Hope you liked it too. We did.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Kyle Carter, I picked up We Called Them Giants based on Tiffany's recommendation a few weeks ago, and I just want to say thank you for telling me about it. It was even more epic than she made it out to be.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's another one of those independent books. It was an OGN. If you're the kind of independent reader who is looking for one-stop stories, there aren't a ton of new OGNs out there.
No.
I feel like
Yeah.
there are. Listen, I'm not going to say that there aren't. There
Right.
are.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for one, or you're looking for even a gift for someone, We Called Them Giants might be a great option. Kieran Gillen, Stephanie Hans telling a really interesting sci-fi story. But I'm telling you, regardless of how the reader that you either are, or you might give this to you, might feel about sci-fi, there is something that will 100% tether you, and I think it's something that a lot of folks can understand, and we'll probably see right through it. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Paperback art. Hey, Sal and Tiffany, first time catching you live due to the holidays. Wanted to send a little thank you for helping me get through work with your show every week. Happy holidays. Well, happy holidays.
Thank you so much.
To you.
Happy holidays to you too.
Yeah, have a fantastic time. Thanks for coming on. Chocobo Kid, ComicPop Plays Christmas Eve stream, New York Eve stream. No streams, only Sal time. No, you have things to do. You're not going to be streaming those times. No.
Yeah, probably not.
Dan Dragon, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays to all the ComicPop crew. Hope you're all doing well and having a wonderful time. What's your favorite Christmas or holiday movie? Mine is Santa Claus with Tim Allen. What's yours? Well, thank you very much for your generosity. Yeah, I mean, like, there are so many specials, and we've talked about them. And in fact, if you check out, I did
specifically movie.
Yeah, movie. I mean, it's that's a tough one. When it comes to Christmas, it's like we could say Gremlins, or like,
well, you could,
but I think it's got to be A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I prefer the Patrick Stewart one.
I just said A Christmas Carol. I love A Christmas Carol as a movie, and I think I'm happy.
Home Alone's a good one.
Yeah,
people mention that.
I'm
not gonna lie, as much as I am a horror fan, every once in a while, I know a lot of people love Actually. I enjoy it too, but The Holiday.
Yeah, it's a very easy. I actually think that The Holiday is less.
It is
problematic than Love Actually has become.
It is just fluff and silly. And I don't know why. Every once in a while, I'm just like.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. But yeah, man, those are ours. Rami Darwish, wish the whole ComicPop crew a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year after watching the latest back issues. What about a Captain America versus Predator during World War II? That'd be awesome. I'd read the shit out of that. You kidding me? Fantastic pitch. I'm down. Marvel, do it. Unpheasant 11, can you convince Josh to bring Roy Harper into Superman so he gets out of the Bad Titans book so it stops ruining him? He was in a good place. I can't help you, man. I mean, like, A, Josh is his own man. B, Roy belongs in a Green Arrow book. So, but I appreciate it. The best part is Josh's run is a love letter. So just have that volume. Get the volumes of his run. So you just have it. And you're like, that's there. Now I can just, every time Roy is made to wear a stupid hat, read that book.
Yeah.
Lenny Laserdiscs, just want to wish the whole ComicPop crew and fans a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you so much.
Of course, to all of you
as well.
Stupid Sandwich. Hey, ComicPop Woo and Happy Holidays. I may have missed the announcement, but any special plans for Christmas or New Year's Eve special or any on your channel? I hope you two have a wonderful holiday. You too, Stupid Sandwich. There will be an episode of Back Issues that's dropping on Christmas Day. It will be a Christmas themed episode, so check that out. But otherwise, that's it.
Yeah. I'm also hosting that one.
You are. Matt Fisher.
There's all four of us on the couch, FYI.
No, I host a little thing at the end.
So. Yeah.
Matt Fisher. Hi, Babs and Dick. Merry Christmas to you all. Here's to another year of Ethan putting his foot down when creating two sons. I agree. I think, I mean, as long as Ethan is on the show, he will put his foot down about just madness science. Charzy, do you all have any opinions on the Superman suit? I didn't like it at first, but it's really grown on me, though I know people think it looks baggy or MCU-ified. What do you think? I mean, if MCUified probably means it like looks accurate or fun. But I do, it did look baggy when he's like in the photo when he's putting it on, but like in action, it doesn't look baggy at all. It looks like it has weight. It looks like it works. Like it's the same with the CG effect they had on the Spider-Man suit in Amazing Spider-Man 2 and that like drop down shot, the one that everyone thinks of when they think of Spider-Man on action, like in live action now, where they like make the suit a little looser. So like it has wind resist. So it's like it flaps in the wind.
Yeah.
It looks good. I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of folks like the trunks are going to be like a
dividing factor for people.
Yeah, and I think they're just not used to seeing it, and so that's also probably part of what we're hearing about, like this bagginess too. Is like there's this extra layer of cloth, or whatever it's made of.
Right, exactly. John says, "Hey, happy holidays, ComicPop. Every time a spider goes into Marvel's New York City sewer recently, they immediately encounter an army of vermins. Is that anything? They set up something up? Do they Morlocks eat them?" Yeah, I do the same. I know the exact same thing you're talking about, man. Every time like they go into the sewer, they're like, "Oh no, vermins!" And I'm like, I remember when there was one vermin. Why are there like 1,000 vermins? Like, and why don't they get a lid on this vermin problem? I hate it. These are rat men. I don't like it.
I know what a vermin is.
All right, good. Because I'm going to say, you didn't seem like you were in on it, but you were aware of Vermin's role in Kraven's Last Hunt because it's one of the first Spider-Man books you ever read.
That's right. And
you were like, what the crap is happening?
Yeah.
What is up with this rat man?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Do I need to care about the rat man?
No,
is
you
he gonna
don't.
Show up a lot more?
In that book, yes. But normally, no. But then he'll be there all the time and there'll be 1,000 vermin.
So the answer was yes.
Yeah, I don't know why. And they should have like vermin war. And it's just like and then they could wrap it up because I'm sick of seeing vermin. Typical Spider. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you guys and this great community. ComicPop has been a big impact on me this year, so thanks for being great. Well, you too, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
So we're gonna get Joel on an episode of Elseworlds Exchange soon. We haven't had an episode of Elseworlds Exchange in a while. We'll have Joel back soon at some point as we figure out what 2025 is going to look like. So I'm excited for that. But thank you. Tea Time 480. Happy holidays. Thanks to everyone at ComicPop for making this year so much more entertaining. Well, glad we could do that for you, man.
Thank you so much.
Alex Oram, have a holly jolly Christmas, you two lovely people. Thank you very much, Alex.
Yeah, and happy holidays to you and also Tea Time because I didn't say it. So.
Yeah, no, it's true. Armed Armadillo, thanks for your generosity. Tiffany, where does Size Constantine Run rank for you when it comes to Constantine books?
Totally fair question. If we just do a top 3, I think that's a fair place to be.
Why not?
I am definitely a dark person oftentimes when it comes to books. So like Ennis is kind of like my top.
Yeah.
It's between Delano and Spurrier after that. It's like it's hard because Delano, of course, was the one that was like, I'm gonna be like one of the first like telling just his story outside of Moore's introduction of him within Swamp Thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like, here we go. But Spurrier's the heart and the stories that he brought to us, I think he's at number 2 right now with Delano coming in at 3. And that's for right now. Yeah. That could easily shift. As soon as you do like a reread on something, just hit you in a different way. This just felt very apropos, and it's hard. It's very hard. I could easily see those 3 shifting around in my brain. But if you ask me today, right now, that's my list.
That's fair. I think Size your favorite.
I do like Ennis is Ennis just has like if it's like overall
right,
like if it's not just like the impact of like maybe a single story. Spurrier's overall, he had a lot less of it than Ennis had.
That's true.
So it's like it's easier to say that I liked more of Spurrier's than maybe I liked or felt less strongly about Ennis's. But Ennis had like some big swings that like really informed who the character is for me. So it's kind of hard. Yeah.
Stupid Sandwich, the art in the New Gods book really reminds me of some of the more refined Star Wars books in the Dark Horse era. I hear what you're saying. I think it's better. And here's the other thing.
But it's just a reminds.
But I agree. And I think Dark Horse had better Aliens, Predator, and Star Wars art than Marvel ever did. Grant Sampson, did anyone ever notice that the text on the sweaters in Ultimate Spider-Man seemed to be photoshopped on? Except for Mary Jane, I think hers is drawn on by the penciler. Peter's is just Comic Sans over it. I mean, here's the thing. They have to do that. Sometimes, like, you'll see that everywhere. When it comes to, like, sometimes the artist has time. Sometimes the artist wants to do it. Sometimes the artist can draw the lettering into the art. Like, you'll see it in graffiti, but, like, the most egregious, the worst example is the Batburger from Tom King. Batman and the kids go to Batburger. And it is ruined by the fact that I think it's David Finch didn't want to draw words. And it's just up to the letterer who just wasn't up to the task. It is just big empty white boxes with just the most just the plainest text. It looks like, I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
But sometimes that happens, and other times it does. I didn't actually even notice really the text on Peter's shirt. But the letterers are getting better at it. Yeah, that's cool. If it's Comic Sans, that's even funnier.
I guess it also depends on where the instruction is given.
Yeah.
Too.
Right, being like, hey, I need you to do that, or like, hey, I need you to do a major, heavy lifting here.
Or they had to change something.
Exactly. Hulkzilla, hey, here's to making this year better. Every Monday and Wednesday always got better with your shows. Thanks, Hulkzilla.
Thank
and
you
every
so
afternoon,
much.
great gaming with were just such chill ways to end the days.
Thank you.
Thanks to you and all being incredible people.
Well, thank you, Hulkzilla. Thank you so much for not only showing up to all of our Monday streams, but also being there with a warm welcome and kind words during my gaming streams. Thank you for being part of our community. It's awesome.
Yeah. And thank you for your happy holidays wishes. Happy holidays to you as well. A secret boss, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Sal Lads.
Well, Merry Christmas to you too.
That. Secret boss, thanks so much for that. I think that's it.
Yeah, except we got this week, which is like, it's either a big holiday for you or not, and then I don't know, but like there are books still coming out, and it's not just nothing books. That's what's blowing my mind right now.
Yeah, it looks like they are officially coming out the 26th.
That's better.
Don't go to your comic book store on Christmas Day,
or call them,
but
and
like
just double check.
Yeah,
more than likely they will not have hours, but if they do, you'll
exactly.
find out. You'll know.
Yeah. But want to let's recommend some comics. Superman number 21 is coming out. Josh Williamson, Dan Mora, Doomsday. Hell yeah. Justice League Unlimited number 2. Remember what I was complaining about that? Here it is. Mark Waid, Dan Mora. I'm picking that up. Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, number 4 is dropping. I'm going to check that out as well. Black Canary, Best of the Best, number 2. I haven't read this issue yet. I've only read the first issue, and it's just gorgeous. Tom King, Ryan Sook, definitely worth checking out. Detective Comics 1092. Tom Taylor and Mikkel Yannon. Such a good. We're eating well as Batman fans nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. So I highly recommend that series as well.
It's a really interesting way to put that. I don't know why.
I know, right?
But that definitely is.
Yeah.
I'll just start with some of these.
Yeah.
I just crashed the internet essentially. It's fine. I'll just kind of shout them out a little bit. Absolute Wonder Woman number 3.
Yep.
Coming out. Kelly Thompson, art by Hayden Sherman.
Yep.
These two are killing it on this book.
Yeah.
Love this book. Ultimate Black Panther number 11 is coming out.
Oh no!
Week. Brian Hill, Carlos Nito on this. Fantastic stuff. Flash number 16, Cy Spurrier and Vasco Georgiev. A lot of folks are saying I have heard a couple of folks saying that this new arc for the Flash, they're loving it.
And
I'm like, okay. And like, I am like, this is much more of a standard Flash book, and we'll see how much longer I read this book. Because again, if a writer that I like is writing it, I'll at least try one, but I'm not going to like adhere to it if I'm not enjoying the book. I really liked his first run on this, but I get that was not what the Flash was about. I understand that, but I enjoyed it anyway. So like, I'm glad that folks are finding Spurrier's Flash more what they were looking for, especially because the end of that arc was incredible.
Yes.
Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu number 3 is coming out. Jed McKay, art by Domenico Carbone. So we'll see how that goes. Green Lantern Dark number 2. This is an Elseworlds book. Man, I liked the first issue of this so much. Tate Brombell writing this one. Werther Del Edera on art. Del Edera's art is just something else. If you have not been reading Something Is Killing the Children,
I got to pick up this book.
Yeah, you got to check it out.
Yeah.
The first issue was real good.
And I guess we can shout out Amazing Spider-Man 64 is coming out as well. I left that for you.
Oh, I didn't even see it. Well, I wasn't. Okay, Amazing Spider-Man number 64 is coming out. Joe Kelly.
No.
Not Joe Kelly. Justina Ireland with art by Gleb Melenkov.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just see what happens.
Right?
I can't tell if that's one of the twins on the cover.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Of Cyttorak.
Right.
Listen, keep your Cyttorak kids in
check.
Yeah,
man.
come on. You gotta get it together here. You gotta know these folks.
Yeah.
For sure. Time Slide?
Yeah. Nah.
Here we go.
Here we go. The book I was really looking forward to.
Did I miss an issue of this?
It just came out last week.
it! How did you not remind me?
Because I only saw it today.
Dang it. All right. I'm going to have to catch up on both issues of Batman Santa Claus Silent Night number 4 and 5. Number 5 will be coming out this week.
The finale.
So mad at myself.
I know. It's okay.
Wow. They got this all in by the end of December.
They got it in under the wire. Well, this book will drop technically on the 26th.
Well, it's still within December.
It is, but it's within the week of Christmas.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. I think that's incredible. Good on them.
Love it. I agree.
Love it.
Yeah. I'll be picking that up. But there's so much more to talk about, but we don't have any more time. So I want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. I want to thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show and giving us so many wonderful messages about the holiday season and what we've given to you and what we've meant to you this week, this year. We wouldn't be here without you, and we do appreciate it, especially to our chatters today, people who are watching the show either after the fact or while it's happening live. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for chatting and being civil and being cool in the chat and sharing your thoughts with us. We do really appreciate every single one of you. We want to thank you so much for it. I want to take this opportunity to thank my amazing wife for being the lifeblood of the show, for being 90% the reason this show has any integrity whatsoever. The other 10% is just the decent internet connection we have. And then I think there's somewhere a sliver of 1 that's me. But thank you, Tiffany, for always being an unflappable and insightful host. Your insights and your observations were something that I knew I needed to mine. The second you started reading any of the comics I gave you, I was like, oh my God, she knows what she's talking about. She can reference actual art eras and artists themselves. She has keen insights. I knew I wanted to throw you at the comic book industry, and I'm so thankful for you and for what you bring to not just my life, but also to the industry and to the wonderful people here today.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. Thank you all. And we'll see you guys next time. But don't forget, we're going to be having shorts dropping on this channel a whole bunch of times. Next week or the week after, streams will be returning for gaming on youtube.com at ComicPop Plays.
That's right.
And of course, a big old episode of Back Issues will be dropping every single week for the next, as long as we can continue doing the show. We're prepared. I'm literally editing 3 shows at once, 3 episodes at once. Which allows Ben and Ethan to take some time off. Tiffany too, but
not really.
You won't have to fill in or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all, and we'll see you guys next time. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
We'll see you then. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.